they could even have a statue of him at SPURS, but everybody will pass that statue and laugh.
Tranzeet TV, welcome back again to our channel. Today we have a new guest. Maurice is another Liverpool fan. Maurice is joining us today. Ubum, the usual suspect, my partner in crime, is here as well. Today we'll be looking at transfers. Obviously, Liverpool, we started having movement in Liverpool with regards to transfers. Aston Villa, Man-United, obviously Arsenal. We'll also spend some time looking at the recent happenings with the Saudi Arabian League. It's becoming they're no longer something to be joked about. It looks like they're very serious. There are some very important movements in that aspect as well. We'll also look at Harry Kane and his career, his movement to the potential movement to Bayern Munich. Then this morning, for us in the United States, there was a heavy breaking news. The interview of Dele Ali with Gary Neville broke this morning as well. It was a very interesting piece of news to listen to. So we're going to touch on it briefly. Sometime over the weekend, I encourage you to watch out for our major content on that. And we're going to have some experts in mental health come to the channel to help us, understand most of the things that he spoke about in that interview. So stick around and enjoy the show. Maurice, you're welcome to the show. You have anything for our viewers?
Well, hey, I am honored to be here. I'm very excited to be on this channel. When I was told about it, I said, sign me up. Just let me know when and I'll come. So hi, everyone. My name is Maurice Iyala. I live in Houston. Massive diehard Liverpool fan. I know there are lots of other diehard Liverpoolians out there, but I think I'm like number one. I eat, sleep, breathe Liverpool, just like you guys do Arsenal. But football in general is, I'm a lover of the beautiful game. I follow football. It doesn't really matter what team. I kind of like to banter with my friends who are in the opposition as well. So yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah,
looking forward to the discussion.
Yeah, good to have you, Ubum.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be on Transit. Yeah, again on Transit again. It's really wonderful to have my buddy. I call him my boss, Maurice, with us this evening. The thing when we hear, I'm sorry, Chelsea fans. I don't mean to attack you guys. When I hear Chelsea fans and I hear Manchester City fans, I take a step back and I wonder the level of fanhood, because many of the people that support these two clubs, especially City, late young fans that probably witnessed only the last couple of years. When I hear someone supports Liverpool, I take it seriously immediately. I don't question anything because the person must be steeped in football history to support a historic club, renowned club like Liverpool. So it's a pleasure to have Maurice with us this evening. Pleasure to be with my man Reggie, again looking fresh and nice. We're, as usual, we call on anyone if you set your eyes on this show, please subscribe, please share, please get your friends to watch. Let's continue to raise our count of subscribers. I believe we're heading for 2,000. Hopefully we'll hit 2,000 soon and keep going further. So let's roll.
Yes. Before we start, I want to send a heavy shout out to people who live in these cities. Of course, our brothers back home in Nigeria. Looking at our numbers at the back end, we are seeing some very good traffic from Nigeria. Over there in India, we also have some huge progress in the UK as well. We also have people watching our channel in Turkey and Norway, which is really, really good to see and hear. So we'll continue to beg you to help us build this channel. Like my friend said, we are on our road to 2,000 subscribers. We want to achieve this before the start of the season next month. So please, if you hit the like button, subscribe, and as well share our content. and help us to achieve this goal in less than 1 month. We have about 2 or 3 weeks to the season starts. So good to have you guys. Before we go to the business of the day, Maurice, I want to ask you, can you give our viewers a brief a story or history between you and Liverpool? How did you become a Liverpool fan?
Absolutely. That's a very good question. So in the 80s, my dad used to travel and he'll come back and he would have, tapes. So at the end of those movies would be soccer games. And Liverpool, of course, as you know, were the dominant force in the 80s. And I just took a liking to it. Bruce Grabala was a very fashionable goalkeeper that caught my eye. John Barnes was another one that
Kenny
just
Dalglish.
took, Kenny Dalglish, John Aldridge, Ian Rush was another fantastic guy. So I just fell in love with the team and I followed them all the way. I can still remember, in '99, Steven Gerrard's introduction and everything into, coming on as a sub and playing and actually scoring in that game. So the likes of Michael Owen and everybody coming through the ranks. Of course, you cannot talk about Liverpool without talking about Robbie Fowler. So I've followed Liverpool all the way from that time till now.
Okay, that's good to hear. I also know you don't forget the day Henry rounded your defense and left Gary Neville on the floor and scored coming back from 1-0 to 2. I remember it was a Boxing Day
game. It was but just right after Christmas. This is a beautiful thing about Arsenal, and I go back and forth with Gom. You guys have some great moments and some great players. I could remember Mark Overmars. I remember a whole lot of other players from your team, and I followed your team. I almost got tempted, but Liverpool is in my blood. But my brother is a diehard, card-carrying Arsenal supporter. Yeah.
Okay, well, it would be nice to have him on the channel as well as someday.
Absolutely.
Let him know anytime he has time, so let's start from no other place than Liverpool. Of course, we give you the honor, we'll take you first today. Yeah, prior to this week, it's been a little bit quiet. After you guys, of course, McAllister's transfer was concluded before the end of the season. We always knew he was going to sign for Liverpool, so it wasn't a big deal. Once the transfer window opened, Liverpool ran that transfer. Then he followed up with Szoboszlai. But since then, things have been gone quiet with Liverpool as regards transfers. But this week, we had some heavy, breaking news yesterday and today in the form of your captain Hendo. We had to offer £700,000 a week in the Saudi Arabian League. Today, he had a conversation with Klopp. According to Fabrizio Romano, and Klopp told him that, well, considering your age and the direction with the club is going now, it's most likely you will have less minutes. So if you find a good thing out there and you want to move, that you're free to go, which means his days are numbered in Liverpool. But right now, the news is that he hasn't accepted that offer or not. On top of that, another offer came in for Fabinho for 40 million, which Liverpool hasn't rejected or accepted. So can you talk us through this? What's going on in Liverpool in regards to this?
Absolutely. So first of all, I have to say that kudos for Hendo. He's been a faithful servant, but for me, and he was basically our most successful captain, in the new era. Even better than Steven Gerrard. So he won the Premier League, so that makes him a whole lot better. However, I was one of those people that said that we needed to clear out the old people. Hendo was, he's a good captain. That does not translate to his delivery on the field. So there were some games that he didn't step up, and I really was a big fan of bringing in Carvalho and the youngsters to take that spot and help him. So even this season, when the rumors came out that there's a possibility that we were going to sell him or he was going to go, I was of the opinion that if a good offer comes to him, he should go. But you cannot, again, deny a man the opportunity to make money. Cash rules everything, right? Even the Bible says, money answered all things. We were paying him 150K. These guys came up and said 700K. He'll be a fool not to take it. So no bad feelings to him. He has to think of his family first, so he's doing what he needs to do. And besides, is that the tail end of his career. It's a very good move for him to make. This is retirement football. We've seen this happen before in China when the Chinese came and they bought all the big players. I remember Oscar in Chelsea left and went over to China. So they're repeating the same thing. And but the only difference between the Chinese and the Saudi Arabians is that the Saudi Arabians have that consistency in the funds. Now, will that translate to success in the goal of promoting soccer in Saudi Arabia? Only time will tell, because all the players will go there for retirement football. It's that the league will not be bigger than the Premier League or the Italian league or even La Liga. So they will try their best, but it's not going to translate into success. Now, that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, the case of Fabinho, it's a bittersweet thing for me because Fabinho had a wonderful run. His form dipped, just like any other player. You're going to have that season that you're not going to be as good. But this season, I'm really looking forward to having him for his experience and for even the order that he brings at the back. I can lose Hendo. I'm not really upset about Hendo, but Fabinho is one guy that I'm still double-edged, undecided about him. I still think that we have 2 or 3 more years from him and it will be good. Now, I will be happy if we do 2 things. If we go ahead, I'd say 40 million. If they can pay more, that's fine. But if they don't pay more and he wants to go, let him go. Take that money, buy Lavia, bring Lavia, and bring Thuram on board. Because we're going to lose 2 midfielders, bring 2 midfielders. We need a holding midfielder. I like Lavia because he's a stopper of the ball. He goes forward, but not as much. Yes, but not as much as Thuram. Thuram is an end-to-end midfielder. He's good in the air. He can read the game and stop the game. So if you're going to lose both Hendo and stuff, that's freeing us up money. Let's go ahead and do that. And even if we sell what's his name, that Barcelona is coming after, Thiago, let him go. We're building for the future. So the average age of our team right now is just where we need it to be. If we get Lavia is 19. I think the other guy is 20 and we're bringing one more young center back. That's really what we need. We're good.
Okay, yeah. Well, let's stay on Liverpool. I'll come back to you, but we'll go briefly. I'm always of the opinion that, especially in EPL, you need certain percentage of your players to be together for a couple of years to really, be able to achieve stuff in EPL. From what he's saying now, from what Maurice is saying, if he goes to happen that way, Liverpool most likely going to have a brand new midfield. And I know that in football, in this game, is played in partnerships. So, which means Liverpool is going to need time for these guys to gel in that department. What do you think is going to be the implication if Hendo has to leave, Fabinho leaves, you bring in Szoboszlai, you bring in McAllister, and probably 2 more new midfielders? Do you think it's going to have an impact in Liverpool and how they perform this season?
It will have an impact. It's going to be a year of transition, but the key there would be Jurgen Klopp being one of the world's best masterminds in the game. I think with Jurgen Klopp there and with the attack that they have a chance maybe to win a trophy. But for the league, it's going to be very hard going in with a new midfield. And Lavia that we're talking about is 19. Lavia has only played 32 EPL games. Premiership games, right? He has all the talent in the world, but he's not ready to run Liverpool's midfield, right? But he can do the job. He can do a job, but not for the whole season. He will need some time to really get in and he'll be able to implement Jurgen Klopp's ideas. Apart from him, Thuram is just 20 again, right? Part of what cost Arsenal last season was inexperience, in addition to squad depth and injuries. And so these things happen. They will need time, and I think Liverpool's fan base typically are a bit more patient than most, and I believe they will be able to give their young team, a chance to really settle in and get accustomed, get acclimated with each other, and be able to work together to help the club move forward. I think that the changes are quite drastic. It would have been better. They would have been better served retaining either of Fabinho or Henderson to guide the guys coming in. Because apart from delivering on the field, the culture of the dressing room, the culture of the club, those things need to be transmitted to the guys coming in, right? Because none of them is raised from the Liverpool Academy. All of them are coming in from the outside. They will need to learn how the club functions. They need to learn what matters to the club's supporters. They need to learn the key games that they have to face every season. Usually, every fan base has one or two games that you have to win if you want the fans to be on your side, right? They will need to be taught who the major rivals are and what they need to do in certain places. They will need to learn you will never walk alone, So many things that they need to, get into to be ready to deliver at the highest level and deliver sustained success, right? So definitely, I watched Arsenal's first friendly game today, and my goodness, I was shaking my head. No, the first official one that allowed fans. I was shaking my head.
We'll get to that.
There's a point I want to make.
Okay.
I know we're going to talk about that. And the reason I'm bringing it up is I immediately noticed Granit Xhaka's absence. But it was so clear, so glaring. There are some passes that Granit Xhaka would make so easily that because he wasn't there, his backups and the people coming in and all that are not just there yet. Right? So just tying into what we are saying, partnerships, like you said, make the game. Every team has some key partnerships that make them tick, make them win. So.
Yeah, I agree with what you guys have said, but for me, I think Liverpool has to. Though the offer is very, very tempting, but Liverpool has to find a way to keep Fabinho. I don't like what he said. I don't really care about Henderson, because if you also look back to last season or a couple of seasons ago, it's probably been a problem for Liverpool in the midfield because it's not really been at it, and he's not a player that is very, very technically gifted. He's always thrived on hard work and organizing the team. So once he lost that energy part of it, he becomes a liability in the team. And the way Liverpool plays, they keep a high line. So the midfield in that team is very, very important because you need experienced midfielders who understand the structure and the way the team plays. So I think it's going to be a very, very big vacuum for Liverpool to deal with. If Fabinho and Henderson, we have to go the same time this summer. And you remember that last season, Liverpool had a very, very bad season, the worst they have had under the club. So this season is not going to be another one for fans to be patient and, understand. No, Liverpool fans, as long as I know, want to win this season. So if Henderson goes, if Fabinho goes, I don't think they are going to say we understand. Liverpool fans want to win, and they want to win right now. So
I want to differ. I don't think so. Well, let me allow the Liverpool
So let me go ahead and come in there and say two things. And I want to agree with Gorman something. Experience does matter. Like you said, he saw the absence of Xhaka in your midfield. Hendo, yes, he's the experience is there, but remember, we the Liverpool fans were calling 2 years ago, even this last season, that we need to replace him. He needs to retire. I was one of those that felt, okay, make him a player coach or put him on the coaching staff and just transition him there. That's one. However, you mentioned a very key element, Jurgen Klopp. Klopp is known for enhancing the abilities of those the players that he gets. Look at what's his name, Nunes. Nunes had a very poor season. Laughed at him and all of that, but he scored 15 goals, more than Luis Suarez. More than Luis Suarez, more than even some of our top strikers when we first got them, even Fernando Torres. So this season we're expecting a whole lot more. Like you said, our attack is solid. Now McAllister has Premier League experience. With Brighton. So let's not write that off. You talked about our philosophy, and our philosophy is steeped in attack. And as soon as you walk, you don't even have to be a Liverpool fan or anything to understand that there's some certain key games, like Ugom said, of Liverpool, mind you, that once you get into that Liverpool atmosphere, I think I sent you a thing showing all the managers and everybody talking about the Liverpool atmosphere. You become part of that thing. There's that thing that we have, that the spirit of Liverpool that becomes part of you. Now, Szoboszlai, yes, he's new, but there's something I've seen about Szoboszlai that we lacked. Even our World Coutinho does not have that. He is a baller. He can unlock defenses. He can play the game. And then let's not forget, even now, as we're thinking of replacing Hendo, one of the people that his name is being called to be our captain is Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah,
Trent is the reason.
I was going to mention him on something. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Trent is the reason we finished 5th. Once they brought him into the midfield, things changed. So, and then we have other 2 players that can actually play his wing. So, will we struggle? Like my maestro said, we'll try and win one cup or something. If we do that, I feel we'll go beyond though. But if we do win a cup, it's a great achievement for us. Now, will we be run even if we get Lavia and all those young boys? We will be overrun? No. I need you to understand that every time that we've gone and we've poached players from relegation teams and we brought them in, they've done well. Wanaidam, Shaqiri, and even our right back, our left back. God, I can't believe Robson. Yes, we got him from a relegated team. So, I guess I'll say time will tell. We're one team that our attack is sweet, is beautiful. I mean, I have no problem. Then we have some youngsters that, don't forget, can come in and actually perform. Curtis Jones, not that I used to not be a big fan of Curtis Jones, but look at what he did in the under-21.
Yeah, there's one you shouldn't mention. Jota. I don't like to hear that name. That guy knows how to hurt us now, man.
Absolutely. He's not even a midfielder. He's a winger. But
I don't hear about the Jota, man. That guy.
Our attack is sweet. That's why I said I'm not even worried about our attack. I think that we have it covered. We're even saying who's going to be our number 9, but we finally gave it to Nunes. Is it Gakpo or Nunes? When Firmino was leaving, I was kind of scared. I was like, okay, what's going to happen? But the minute they brought Gakpo, I said, that's it. Firmino.
Yeah, but Maurice, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Sorry, before you go.
Let's welcome Tony to the show. Tony, I'm sorry, it's 2 a.m. where you are. Unfortunately, it's 8 p.m. for us. Yeah, I'm really sorry to wake you up this time of the night. And we're so glad that you were able to make it. Thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Reggie. I was a wizard before coming to London, so I know how to spin.
I like that.
And
Hey, Tony.
luckily for us, we've not talked
Hey,
about
nice to meet
Kane,
you.
so you're quite on time.
Thank
So,
you.
Maurice, Liverpool during I think 3-4 years ago when Liverpool was really hot under the club. For me, the majority of the success that you guys achieved, we are based on your wings. That you are using your right and left wing back to attack and create chances for your attackers and stuff. They overall depended on the wings. And now, last season, yes, we will say Trent going to the midfield helped Liverpool, but he also took something from your game as well. Because I can't really remember how you addressed that right side of your play. On the left side, Robertson wasn't really himself. He had a good, for me, he didn't play badly, but the standards we know him to perform at, he didn't hit those standards last season. So now, considering that if Trent is going to be moved to the midfield, that means club has to work out how to attack from the flanks, or you're going to change into playing in the midfield. And don't forget that Trent hasn't really been playing that position. And it kind of took Premiership teams at the surprise. And Liverpool had their backs on the wall. So they had no choice than to really push. But for a settled season, I don't know how effective, especially in the defensive point of view, Trent's going to be for Liverpool in that position. And once you move him here, that means you remove one midfielder and have him. So having all this together, I think it's going to take some balancing, and probably it might go left, it might go right. I don't know how you see all these jobs that you need to do on your team in regards to those adjustments.
All right, so I'm going to say this. You said when we were hot. We are always hot. Last season we're just warm. So let me help you. That's one. So Trent started off as a midfielder. He was just brought by club to play that wing, and he just became very good at being a right back. It gives us a lot of options. Last season we were very predictable. A lot of teams, they could play they come through the wings, so they were able to shut us down. They could read our games, and then our assistant coach went ahead and printed a book, of our tactics and everything. And a lot of people bought that book and saw that was a mistake. So this season, one of the things that Jurgen Klopp is doing this season is having the option of many other formations. So we're experimenting with so many things. We bought, we actually have Trent's replacement. He was just injured. So we have that. We have some young boys that are very good. What's his name? The Irish boy from, I think we bought him from Rangers. He was injured all through last season, came back a little bit.
Okay, I think I
trained with he's very good. We like skillful, fast.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is Trent going to be played as an inverted right back, or is he going to be played as a midfielder?
Well, he's going to be our utility man. It depending on the game, we would go ahead and put him there. Yeah. So he's going to
because Southgate played him as a core pure number 10 midfielder.
Yes,
right.
Of course.
As opposed to being played Klopp played him as an inverted right back towards the end of the season. So you don't. If you remember how Mourinho used Mikel Obi, converted him from a midfielder to DM, right? Standing center back.
Standing center back. Exactly. So, but the one of the things that a lot of players want to play for Klopp is that he will make you experiment with different roles and bring out the potential in you in those roles. And we're happy that we have a utility player that can come in and play the midfield. Now, again, like I said, I think the plan is to do it game by game. So if we're playing against Arsenal now, we need people who would unlock your defense. And Szoboszlai is a very good guy. Like I said, he's very tricky. McAllister. For the first time, we have very skillful midfielders, just like City. We have midfielders that can actually go and score. We have midfielders that are attack-minded, they can unlock the defense and play well. And then remember, guys, our attack is very, very lethal. I need to keep emphasizing on that. We have a young boy called Ben Doak, and Ben Doak, we're not loaning him out. He's going to be there this season. He's unbelievable, you know. So I think we're good.
Let me bring Tony in here. Still on Liverpool. From what you're saying, Maurice, I can see that right now in your midfield, and you're heavy in the midfield on the attacking sense of it. Last season, one of the problems that Liverpool had was defense. Was defense, and it looks like that there's no movement in that area as of today. You see the same Van Dijk, the same Kanute, the same Robinson, the same probably Trent or the other guy I talked about.
Gomez.
Yeah,
Gomez.
Yeah.
Gomez.
From my own point of view, I don't know what you think, Tony. If Liverpool are to play against a team who put them under pressure, I want to mention us. I don't want to mention City. Let's assume team like Brighton or Aston Villa, what Unai is doing, or Newcastle. Do you think that Liverpool has enough in the defensive midfield position and defense, to take care of business? Because I think that's what they struggled with last season.
Yes, one of the trouble last season was the problem in that midfield. Let me take a little bit back to when Coutinho was at that team. They probably didn't achieve, they didn't win trophy. I'll call that luck, but that Liverpool was ruthless because they were unpredictable. They could create from midfield and attack from the flanks, right? So what Klopp was able to do with Trent was to go back a little bit back to that, to give them some like of an option. They need creativity in the middle. I think that's what they've been able to achieve. Yeah. So, and a very good way of defending is to attack. If he maintains what he was doing at Dortmund, that Gengen, kind of football, if a player loses the ball, they have guys with pace on the flanks, but someone needs to get something done in the middle. Someone very creative need to spot that one, or probably make a little bit move, and then unleash players, and also follow up the attack. In case anything drops, they could score from the middle or from the flanks. Over the years, we'll see Salah scoring so many goals. But remember what Coutinho used to do for this team. That's what I'm looking at as Slavosly to come into the team to do. So that pressure you're talking about, it's not even about City or Arsenal, anything on any team in the Premier League. But what matters is, do they have the midfield, like you said? I think they have a very decent midfield. And my only problem with Liverpool is their defense. I think Van Dijk, I don't know who I could say like is a perfect partner for Van Dijk in the heart of the midfield, because sometimes they look solid with Kanute there. Sometimes, you see Matip. Other times you see Gomez, and injury, and Van Dijk really hasn't really been on the level that we know he was a couple of seasons ago. Has been a very big problem for them. So when they lose the ball in that midfield that wasn't really strong, and the midfield that doesn't really support attack as he used to, even when Wijnaldum and other guys were there, he puts a lot of defense on the midfield, on the defense, a lot of pressure on the defense that isn't on the level they are supposed to. And then you see them conceding a lots of goals. This is a team that scored many goals last season. Their undoing was conceding a lot. They score many, but they concede a lot. So I think he's been able to get players who can hold the ball, hold it a little bit. Not like you lose it, you don't know what to do with the ball, you lose it, and they put pressure on the defense. Hold it, have a little creativity, release someone. Salah can run. This guy, if he comes back, if this guy stays fit, what's his name? Diaz.
Okay, Diaz. That's another player we are forgetting. That guy, I'm so
Diogo Jota is there, just like he said. The attack is just thunder, not even fire. The attack is really thunder. All they need is to just get things done in the midfield. Goalkeeper is fine. Defense will definitely sort itself out if midfield can just be together.
Okay, yeah. Out of the big six, I want to also look at a team today, the Aston Villa. Aston Villa, last season, Emery came in and they became a thorn in the flesh of some big teams. They did good. I think they made it to Europe. I don't know if it's Europa or Conference League. But what's surprising me this summer, there has been some very heavy movement around that club. They've made some signings, and this week they've been rumored to be linked to some very important and big names in European football. Today, there's a rumor that they are planning to spend 100 million to sign Diaby. You know, the Diaby guy in Leverkusen last night is linked
Musa Diaby
now, and Johnson. Then also rumor had that Lukaku is a possibility they are looking at as well, and Frank Kessie, that was in AC Milan, that is in Barca now right now. There's also a rumor linking them to these players. So I don't know, whoever, Morris, you want to go with this? What have you made about Aston Villa and what they're trying to do in the summer transfer window this season?
They're definitely ambitious, and we know Unai Emery is a solid coach. You could see what he did to transform their forward. Oli Watkins.
Yeah.
Watkins finished the season so strongly, scored so many goals. He's already transformed the team. They are focused. Everybody knows their job. They've lost the old soldier, Mr. Young, to Everton. I think he's signed for Everton.
Yeah.
But Emery, one thing I love about the man is he's a smart man. He plans very meticulously. You can see his hands already all over. You know, I saw him in a picture with Pau Torres. Pau Torres, as at last season, was one of the most highly rated centre backs in Europe. You know, everybody wanted him. Manchester United were actively trying to sign Pau Torres, but Villarreal placed so much value on him. I'm surprised that Unai Emery was able to get Pau Torres. That's a really nice left-sided ball-playing centre back, and we'll see it when the season starts. So anybody that's sleeping on Villa, they better get serious, because if you're playing Villa and you think you can walk over them, you're joking. The side is going to be solid next season. And I thought that Tyrone Mings, for all his physical ability, was a weak link in their defense last season. And replacing him with Pau Torres is going to take them to a different level.
Agreed.
Of course, they have Martinez, former Arsenal keeper, that is, again, one of the best in the world when it comes to playing the game and keeping. So with the solid defense as a foundation for them to build on, they can only get better. And you know, I see Villa really pulling strings next season.
Yeah, staying with you. So this name, okay, sorry, Maurice.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what Ugong just said. You know my take on Emery. He's I believe he was one of the best coaches in Europe. See what he did for you guys. I think you guys are just impatient. Arsenal was impatient for him. You should have given him more time. He has transformed Villa, and he's going to take them to a top 4, top 5 club. The signings that he's made are just incredible. He brings out the best in the ordinary players, and that's the hallmark of a great coach. You need to be able to, if you can pull in the big stars to come play for a small team, you're a super coach. You know, I'm from the old school of Bobby Robson, the ultimate coach of coaches. You know, a good coach should know how to A, identify talent, B, attract that talent to
top
talent. So he's doing an excellent job. And last season, the way they played, I mean, I did not think that was Villa, you know. So the difference between Villa and West Ham had the season where they were very good. I think the season before this one, the last season, they were very good, and then all of a sudden they came back and they won. They won in the history. They just won something. Exactly. Conference League, you know, significant. So here's what I'll say about Villa. And I'll say this, and I'll just go ahead and give you this. Top 5 teams or top 6 teams, the usual suspects are there, but I don't think Newcastle would really do much because we beat them home and away last season. But I fear Aston Villa more than I fear Newcastle.
Okay, so Tony, staying with you, like I said, I've given a list of names. Even Joao Felix is also one of the players that they've been linked to this week. So, Tony,
Wow.
do you think, based on what the Aston Villa did last season and Emery, did they have the pool to attract any of these names? I have Lukaku there, I have Musa Diaby, I have Frank Kessie and Joao Felix. These are dangerous names in football that if you play against any team and these names are mentioned in their team list, you have stuff to worry about. So what do you think about Aston Villa being able to attract some of these names, and if they do, what that means for the Big Six or top four battle next season?
I think just like Ugum said, this ambition they're showing is more on the manager, the man in charge. He's one with whose track record is wonderful. Go back to what he did in Spain. I think was this with Sevilla before he moved
Sevilla, yes.
with Sevilla, and then moved
Mr. Europa.
to PSG. Did well. Went to Arsenal, and also did well. I think he's one any player would like to work with. And I felt like he's the type that will tell you his plan, way of going to fit into his squad, and he's building a very solid squad. The kind of squad that you probably look on paper and say, well, where is he going with it? But anybody who understands football will know that even Yuri Tillemans that he went for, and on a good day, he's a solid player.
Oh, wow, Yuri Tillemans. Wow,
he signed. They wrapped it up in the first 2 days of the
season. I'm telling you, so this guy, he has his eyes somewhere. I bet you, just like Morris said, I don't think they are just going to be party spoilers next season. They'll probably be one of those to upset one of the big teams, like it happened this season. If care is not taken and everything works out well for him, injury is another factor. If players stay fit, I see Unai Emery, only appointed on 1st of November 2022. Look at what he's transformed this team into, getting them into European position, meaning more money is going to come in next season. And if depending on how he does this season, they could be challenging for a Champions League place, even in 2 seasons to come. He's someone that I know very well to manage his resources. Give him whatever you can and see him transforming into something beautiful. I think they will cause trouble. Big one.
Yeah, if you watch Aston Villa play, they don't look very beautiful in the eye. No, they don't look ugly. But there's one thing that they have in their play. They are very purposeful. Aston Villa, under Emery,
so direct.
They play a football that tries to bring results. They don't look ugly. They don't play. They don't pack the balls, attack us, counter you, we score. No, but they're not like elaborate as Arsenal. They're trying to be Arsenal or try to be Liverpool or try to be Man City. But somehow, when you watch them, you know that they got to be on your toes, or they will score you goals. And this is what they managed to do.
I read it. Just not cutting you. Like this thing you said about not packing the balls is what you see most teams do in the Premier League when they come up against the top teams.
Yeah.
But this team don't do that against the top team. They try to play.
Yes.
It tells you a lot about the ambition. It's the belief that is instilled in these players that we can achieve. We saw a little bit of that with Newcastle last season, and they grabbed some important points that get them into the Champions League.
Yeah.
So back in the day, Aston Villa, Newcastle, West Ham, they were considered like the traditional British teams that play that old style of English football. But you see, when you bring in a coach, a foreign coach that has Spanish experience, you call them Mr. UEFA or something.
Yeah.
So
Europa.
If you Europa. If you look at Aston Villa has a blend of Spanish, Spanish and a different Spanish Italian kind of thing. They're like the people in Romania. They speak both German and they speak German and they speak Russian. It's all mixed in. So they have a very good blend of it. So that's why it's hard for you to predict their play. it's hard for you to say this is the Aston Villa that you're going to play. I remember when we played them and we won, but but it was very unpredictable. I was scared in that game. I watched the game and I was like, yo, this is a game that we really need to be careful because these guys can hurt us from any angle.
Yeah.
So they are not your direct team. If we play against Arsenal, no offense, guys, we can sit down and say, okay, yeah, we know how they're going to come, and this is what we're going to do. But again, the danger with Arsenal can be predicted because we know how Arsenal plays. But with teams, and that's why Gomery, anytime we talk, he used to say it's the little teams, the small teams that actually I'm afraid of. It's not the big teams. Like Arsenal, it's the little teams like Brighton and you guys. Brighton will come in and do some stuff. You guys will go and beat them. But again, like Emmanuel said, that they're not just going to come and be they're not going to that. Those is a bit them being spoilers. I think have gone. They're actually contenders.
And they have some good players, like you said, blend of British and Spanish. You have Jacob Ramsey, who is a core English boy, UK boy. So he has that blood, that's the doggedness in him. Then you have players like what's this guy's name? We tried to sign at that time. What's his name? Louis Douglas.
Louis Douglas, yeah.
So they have some
Douglas
good players in that team. Yeah,
right.
They have managed to attract some good names, and I believe they're going to be. That's why I said let's look at them today because it's always easy to talk about Arsenal, Man United, Man City, Tottenham, and Liverpool. It's becoming boring, but EPL is no longer a league where you focus on top 4 or big 6. There are really a lot of teams now trying to cause a lot of problems. Brighton's another team to watch out for next season, the way they are going. And they lose players. It seems that they didn't lose anybody. They even get stronger after they lose some of their key players, So let's look at United. That's another big team that is a bit of worry. For me, there's not been much happening around them before the end of the season. We thought by now the Arabian businessmen would have taken over United, and there was fear that if they had done that, they would sweep the transfer market this summer. Unfortunately, up to this moment, nothing has really happened. They have a lot of issues trying to get players. They need to get players out to be able to get players in. It looks like the whole world left Onana for them to sign. Still, they can't complete that deal. They're going back and forth with Inter Milan. Even as Simone came out today to say that they need to sell players before they can sign. So, which means they need money. So, still, United is not able to, close any deal apart from Messi Mount. That obviously all EPL teams had a meeting and said leave him for United, and they were able to close that one. So, Tony, last time we spoke about Onana, and Chioma, and we had a little bit of concern that Onana, as good as he is, does United play a way that really, really suits them signing Onana? Do you think that's going to be a good addition to the team?
Me, respect. He's an African brother, and I would like him to move to a top club. But if I would recommend a goalkeeper, I wouldn't recommend Onana for Manchester United. He's a decent keeper. He's one of the top keepers, good on his feet, but between the sticks, I don't think in my ranking is in the top 5 or top, even top 6. Another problem I have with Onana is he's a player with attitude. Okay, and I saw that part of the success Ten Hag had last season was some of the big heads left the club. Like Pogba, Cristiano Ronaldo. So he had a bunch of cool guys that will stay, yes, sir, and keep their heads low and play football. Onana is that guy that will have it his way.
Yeah,
he will have it his way. If he doesn't, there's every tendency that he could have 1 or 2 guys, gravitating towards what he believes, and then you have disruption in the dressing room. Other than that, Tony, I think he's a decent keeper.
Tony, I beg to differ. I think that Onana moving to United will be a dream come true for Onana, and I don't think that he will come at
I'm
this
talking
club.
about for Manchester United. For
Yeah,
Onana,
for
it's a dream
Manchester
come true.
United. Yeah.
Anybody would like to move to Manchester.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, and for an African player, that is like the pinnacle, being the goalkeeper wanted by Manchester United. They should consider that as a massive honor or privilege to do that, to be playing there. That's one. Two, you stated that he's hot-headed. I don't think anybody in United would have been as hot-headed as Ronaldo. So, and Onana, I don't think he's going to come in there and do that. I think he will be checked. He can, you know, his ego will be checked at the door. I think that it's a great move for not just Onana, but for United themselves. I think he will fit with goalkeepers. It's not fitting their system, because what is he doing? Is just keep staying between the sticks and making sure that the ball doesn't come. He works with his defenders. So I'm going to say that I'm going to disagree with you and say that whatever United needs to do, they need to do it fast. In as much as I'm not a United guy in any way, or I don't really care much about United, I just feel that it was a massive mistake not to renew De Gea's contract. I believe that he was
Exactly
very
my
good.
point.
Right. I
He's
believe
still,
that they should have, that was a very foolish move from United. They shouldn't have let him go. You know, so if they don't have they have a goalkeeper, yeah, I know. But you know, they need to act fast. Now, in the case of transfers and everything, United is unique in a sense that it's not that the money is not there. It's just that I don't think they've decided on what they need to do, because they have to sell. They have good players. You know, they have to sell one or two to acquire one or two players. Mason Greenwood is coming back. I think he's an excellent player. I don't care what anybody says about his personal life. I think he's an excellent ball player. He's a star that they've missed last season or throughout his whole suspension. I believe that he can come in and make those changes, those game-defining changes. Mason Mount in United is the perfect 7 for them right now. So they just need to get 1 or 2 defenders and a striker. So I heard them saying that they were going to go for, there's a rumor that they're going to go for Osimhen. So if you're going to buy a keeper and Osimhen, I think then they'll be very strong if they do that.
Okay,
You know, so
yeah.
I don't know what you guys think, but I'm trying to see, you know, what his contract was, or if he's still really heavily contract. You know, he still have many years, but I just like you guys to think about this guy, Emi Martinez, and Joe Onana. His Premier League experience.
Yeah.
I thought maybe he would have been a better keeper for United, because he between the six he's good. He's a good he can save penalties. He has Premier League experience. Onana belongs to the top. Onana is a top player, I know. He's going to be massive for Africa. But when you look at the team, especially the Manchester United, I felt like they're just going for Onana like he's probably the best option. But I've not seen them look other areas to look at.
Actually,
I
don't know the situation. I don't know the situation around Emi
quickly,
Martinez, but I think he's a good goalkeeper.
Can I just quickly respond to that, and I'll leave it for Gom to add to this. So getting Martinez for them will be paying the same amount of money that they're going to spend for Osimhen, because Martinez right now in his club, he's comfortable, he's established himself, and they're not going to turn around and be like, oh, we'll sell him to you for 80 million or 90. They're going to be like, you want him? He's a World Cup goalkeeper. Here, we need 125 mil. And it's going to be too much. So get Onana for whatever price that you're looking for. Get a striker, and maybe get get one more defender, and they're good. That's just my take
Martinez
on it.
is actually linked to Chelsea today, but I don't know how strong those links are. Ugum, so let me stay with you. I want to ask you a question. This one, you're going to be the manager at the same time the player. I'm talking about Maguire. That's another very big conundrum for United to deal with this transfer window. Obviously, Ten Hag doesn't want him. We all know what his story has been in United the last 2 seasons. So they need to release him, but he's on a heavy salary. So it looks like his fans suitors, but they're not willing to take him on those salaries. And it looks like United also is not interested in paying part of his salary or paying him, tearing his contract and letting him go to do for a club. So if you were a Maguire, the Euros are coming up next year. Will you take a pay cut and move and go somewhere to play, or would you stick around and say, well, either you pay me my money or I stay here. If you use me or you don't use me, I need to earn my salary. What will be your choice in this situation? Being Maguire at the same time, if you were to be Erik ten Hag.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. I'm going to answer this question being 4 different people. If I were Maguire, right, I would relax comfortably. I'm not going anywhere because it is clear that Mr. Southgate does not care whether Maguire is playing club football or not. He plays Maguire. So if the national team coach isn't bothered about whether I play week in, week out, and he's going to play me, and we know he's going to play me, I'll stick it out. I'll just chill and conserve my energy for when the tournament comes. So that's what I would do if I were Maguire. If I were Erik ten Hag, okay, first of all, before I be Erik ten Hag, let me be an Arsenal fan. Yeah? As an Arsenal fan, my recommendation is that they double Maguire's wages and play him every game.
And keep him.
Keep him double his wages. Let him start every game, right? Whenever he gets tired, maybe after all the damage has been done, you can bring him out and find a proper defender. That's my answer as an Arsenal fan. But as a United executive, I would do what Arteta and Edu has done, did to quite a few of the big people, big earning, non-delivering or under-delivering stars at Arsenal then. The likes of Mesut Ozil, the likes of Mustafi, the rest of them, cut the salary, cut the guy, pay him off. Pay him off, because apparently, I mean, it's clear that the club supporters are not behind Maguire anymore. He's been made the official scapegoat for the club, and deservedly so. I mean, his performances have been really under par. They already spent 80-something million on this guy. Every day, the fans are calling for him to leave. Why can't they just, I mean, anyways, that's none of my business. So if I were an executive, this is what I would do. I'll cut him tomorrow. Cut him loose, set him free, let him go wherever he wants to go. Whatever they offer, you take it, and you really want your club to move forward. Now, if I were sorry?
No, I was saying count your losses and move on, right?
Yes, count your losses, and the earlier the better you do that, because he's there, he's earning a lot of, he's occupying space, he's earning a lot of money, and you can't really move forward and build a team.
And he will have loyalties and sympathy in the dressing room as well.
In the dressing room, United, what has killed United, I would say 30% of their wahala is caused in the dressing room with the leaks and all. And Maguire, I am very sure the likes of Maguire, the likes of Rashford are behind all the stuff that's been happening with all the leaks and all the stuff. Any little thing that happens at United, it hits the press the next morning. Right, so if you want to run a proper dressing room that's closely knit and is one for all and all for one, you need to get rid of certain elements, and Maguire is one of them.
Yeah, so we're going to leave United now and move to the other topics we have. I'll ask everybody one question: if you were to recommend a striker for United, who would it be and why? So let's start with you.
I would have blinking Victor Osimhen. He will get them goals. He puts pressure on defense. If you give him the passes, he will score. He's great in the air. He's fit. He's strong, and he helps his team generally. Like he's a proper number 9.
Yeah, I know he scores goals, but do you think he suits the way United plays on that Ten Hag?
It doesn't exactly suit it, but they need a prolific striker. There's Vlahovic out there that I felt like could suit their play better than Osimhen. But I know Osimhen still ranks above. If they really want to be, among the top teams, fine. But I feel like Vlahovic will sit better to their style. Osimhen is a go-getter. I think in any team, he will get you goals if he gets the passes. Minimum 20.
Okay, more is considering what it looks like United is operating in a tight budget this summer. What striker would you recommend for them, economically and in terms of playing style?
Well, without a doubt, one of the things I just said prior to this was get Osimhen, because you're going to be cloning Haaland. The same thing. Haaland could go into any team and play and still score goals. You know why? He's a goal scorer. He's, like he said, he's a prolific number 9.
He's born for it.
He offers a lot for United. And the way they play, all they need is just somebody to give him the ball. He will do his work. So I would say go for him. United have nothing to lose. So if I was them, I'll pay whatever Napoli wants, and I would get him, and I know that it's a done deal. Sorry, just one thing about Maguire, just to say something about Maguire. Maguire reminds me of when we went to Newcastle and we bought what's the striker's name? I haven't forgotten his name.
Andy Carroll.
Andy Carroll.
So
he's a traditional English player that is hyped up. I knew United made a mistake when they bought him. I said it instantly. I was like, oh well, we're just going to be scoring against them. So cut your losses and go. Free up those funds. He's taking up 2 good players' funds. You can use the money that you pay him a year to get 2 good players, and that's it. So yeah.
Let's not forget, we're even having this conversation because he's an English player.
So right now, I know rumor has that Napoli tied Osimhen and value him at 140 million. United have spent, I think, 55 million on Mason Mount. It's going to be another 55 million for Onana, and they probably need another midfielder and a defender. So, do you think they can do these deals? And if they cannot add Osimhen to this, is there another striker that might be cheaper?
Oh yeah, I have 3 options for them. 3 solid options for them. Number 1 is with the player that they're actually going after. Højlund of Atlanta. Very bright striker, just 21. Very bright.
Yeah.
Almost a clone of Haaland himself. The guy. I saw the guy play for the national team. I couldn't believe how good that guy is, and I'm dreading United getting him because they will get him. But the point is that Atlanta have now asked for 80 million euro for him. I wonder whether United will get to that level, but I believe they can negotiate and get him. Second option will be Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney is on suspension.
No, don't mention Toney. I'm keeping him for Arsenal, please.
They can get him from Brentford for less than 50 million. I believe Brentford will sell. And Toney is a big game, big side player.
Yeah.
The guy has a chip. He has a chip on his shoulders. He doesn't. Anywhere you put him now, he's going to show you that he's good enough. Especially with this suspension, he says that whichever side gets him after that suspension, they're going to see a next level striker.
Yeah, I think he had an update on his Twitter that he was getting ready for January.
Yes. So the third option is that I'm taking my Arsenal fanhood, glasses off here. Is Folarin Balogun. Folarin Balogun.
Yeah.
Yes. If United get Balogun, he would deliver for them. I mean, playing with Bruno Fernandes and the rest of them, they will make Marcus Rashford. They're going to create a lot of chances for him. Balogun is quite enterprising, quite mobile, and we'll create all kinds of spaces for them in the 18-yard box and mop up their rebounds. it will be very effective for them.
So I see Balogun as a Rashford and what's the French boy's name again? Marshall. You know, they're in that mold. Balogun is an excellent player. I don't know why you guys don't want to keep him. I think that he is better than Nketiah. Don't kill me, guys, but
And
I
you
think
know
Balogun,
why I think he will even be a good fit for City is for United is he's that kind of character. The guy is super arrogant, and apparently he's getting a little irritated with Arsenal, and he's gonna jump on any rival, no matter who the rival is, he's gonna go there and show what he can do, and that's a dangerous thing to have. If Arsenal are gonna sell him, they better not sell him to anyone in the EPL. They need to maybe they can sell him to Aston Villa. I would take that, but none of the regular top 4, top 5 sides. Yeah, because he's gonna go there and show you what he can do. I don't like his attitude, but yeah, that's what makes him who he is. I mean, the guy is sharp now. He missed two clear sitters today, playing for us.
Okay, Tony, let's go to you before we go to Saudi Arabia. Harry Kane, Mr. Tottenham. Hey, this time around, it looks like Dele Ali is not in the driving seat. Somebody is driving him. Is at the back of there's a back seat in this one. Bayern Munich, though they have not met Spurs' evaluation of Harry Kane, but it looks like they're serious, to make that deal, and for them to keep pushing. It looks like Harry Kane as well has given them that is a possibility for him. So let me ask you a question. If you were Harry Kane, there are some dilemma for you to consider. One, I hear Spurs are willing to offer him £400,000 a week to stay in Spurs, and if he signs a new contract, obviously it's going to be more than ever possible for him to beat the Alan Shearer EPL goal scoring record. They're going to earn a lot of money, but the possibility of winning a trophy is very unlikely, and it will look somehow for, in quotes, an English legend, because right now that guy, I think he's the top English goal scorer, not to win a trophy at club level or to his career, and he hasn't even won as an English player as well. So if you were to be him, moving to Bayern Munich gives opportunity to win, almost guaranteed he's going to win a trophy, if not Champions League, at least the league in Germany. So if you were to be in his shoes, his manager or him or his family, what would be advice to Harry Kane, in this debacle?
Oh, man, I'll tell him to move where he can win trophies, but I know Harry Kane wouldn't want to move to Germany. It's just circumstances that are just forcing some things to look like he's going to go there. The English FA would like him to stay in the Premier League. Forgive me for answering that question so fast without really giving it a good thought. I'm talking about the player that is best for United. I'm surprised no one mentioned him, probably because of his age. This guy has got bags of experience, and he's really proven himself in the Premier League. I think if he stays, yes, like you said, he could probably break that record. But what's the player? They could even have a statue of him at Spurs, but everybody will pass that statue and laugh, because I know how it is here with Spurs. They are literally like a mockery of what a proper football club should be. Forget about the big stadium and all that. In terms of achievement, they have nothing, only punched above their weight for a few seasons. So, and for Kane to have such a prolific record as a striker in the Premier League without a trophy, I mean, the future kids will never really understand how good he was in the game if we don't talk about him playing the Champions League or winning it, winning the Champions League or winning the Premier League. If he goes to Bayern is more like he's sure to win something, but boy, I think Bayern is not really where even his family would like him to go at this stage of his career.
Yeah, so Maurice,
sure.
Advice. Sorry to call you short, Tony. Advise Dele Ali, if you were in his shoes, now if Harry Kane doesn't sign a new contract, Next season, he could be playing for United. He could be playing
Mhm.
for Liverpool. He could be playing for Arsenal. He could be playing for Chelsea.
Mhm.
Then if he stays and renews, you're going to be paying him £400,000 a week, as been rumored.
Mhm.
Bayern Munich seems to know this dilemma. That's why they're not, trying to meet the valuation of Spurs. They have bid, I think their last bid was for, I think, 65 million.
Mhm.
If you were to be in the living shoes, what would be a decision in this issue as regards
Okay.
to Kane?
So that's a very good question, but I need to let you understand that some players are iconic symbols for the club. It will be a massive mistake for Tottenham to sell Harry Kane. Harry Kane embodies the diehard and the belief of every Tottenham fan, of giving them that belief that they're a massive club because they have him. He's the highest goal English scorer, very, very consistent season after season. I would do this. I would rather, Tottenham's problem is getting the right coach that will build around both Song and Harry Kane. The money that they are trying to get to spend and to sell him, I would not sell him to any club. I will let him stay there and do what Batistuta did with Fiorentina, stayed with them when they got relegated, brought them up, and they won the league. He only left when the club needed money, and the only way they had to generate money was that they needed to sell him, and he left. I would do the same thing Maradona did in Napoli. He stayed with them until they won, even stayed with them after they won, and they didn't win any trophy after that, but he still stayed with them. So it's not every time that a player must leave. Coutinho is a good example. Jurgen Klopp told him, stay in Liverpool and these guys will make a statue of you. He said, no, I need to go. Of course, for every South American player, the law of Barcelona is the curse of Barcelona as well. He went, didn't work out in Barcelona. Even in Aston Villa right now, they're going to ship him out. So sometimes that move that you think is good for a player is, east or west home is best. He'd rather be a king in Tottenham than go to Bayern, win one or two trophies with Bayern, and come back and be like, oh, okay, yeah, he was, a great scorer. England needs an icon, and that icon is in Tottenham, and they would stick with him. Period.
So he's got to celebrate that. Remember, Henry left Arsenal, went to Barcelona.
Is Henry? Was Thierry Henry a British guy? No.
It's not. I'm talking about who he was for Arsenal. He was more to Arsenal than even what this guy is to Tottenham.
No.
Sometimes you have to really factor in this player, a player's ambition. I always question his ambition as a player. We know that when you're coming up as a footballer, you could possibly have dreams of where you want to play, but at the same time, there's also other dreams of the trophies you want to win. You want to win the Champions League, you will probably play in the Premier League and all that. Yes, people could say whatever they want to say, but I think when Harry left Arsenal, he left in a good way. He served them well. That today, Arsenal don't regard Henry like maybe like he betrayed them. And he can still walk back in Arsenal any day. He's a king there. The same thing can happen to Harry Kane. All he needs to do is to make the right move at the right time. He needs to win a trophy.
So I agree with you. I agree that he needs to win a trophy. But you see, you need to understand that just like Maguire, like he said, I revert back to what Ogom said about Maguire, that whether Maguire plays or does not play, the English coach will always put him there. It is more of a symbolic what's that word again? It's more of a symbolic message to the country than it is more of being in Tottenham and not winning anything. It is up to the Tottenham board to sit down and, maximize the potential of this player. What do? Build around him. Every time I look at Tottenham, I'm like, if this team has a good coach that can identify and buy the right players, Tottenham will be good. We talk about Tielemans. If I was the coach of Tottenham, I would go buy him. You can actually poach the relegated teams or some smaller teams and buy the good players to make your team look good. Tottenham is a team that just needs a good coach that can come in and make them. If I was them, I'd have gotten Emery.
Yeah, Maurice, the problem is with Tottenham is recently they've had some winners as coaches and they've all gone there and failed. So it looks like it's going to take more than that for Tottenham to win. So for this one, for me, so I can move to something else. There seems to be no right or wrong way to go on this one. Like Tony said, it will end up in what Harry Maguire's ambitions are eventually, because for me, he's the main figure in this issue. Dele Ali obviously going to be selfish about either making money for himself, good money for himself, or keeping him in the club and keep driving traffic to games every day. Because people are going to come to watch Tottenham games because of Harry Kane most of the time. So, but Harry Kane himself needs to sit down with his family, with himself in his head, and figure out exactly what does he really want. What is achievement for him? Does beating the Shearer's record mean more to him than being probably a Champions League winner or a Bundesliga winner? Because even if he goes to Bayern Munich and doesn't play well, like you said, he's still going to play for the national team. And let's not forget that he's 30 years this year. So
exactly
in the next 1 or 2 years, Harry Maguire is a player for me. He's been consistent, but you also know that he used to have this injury every season that he misses game for 2-3 months. So it's possible. It doesn't look to me like one of those players that will play that at the fact that they will still be playing good. It looks to me like he's beginning to slow down. In 2-3 years from now, we'll be talking about Saudi Arabia for him, if not even next season. So he needs to make a going to be a very, very important decision for him. I know Bayern Munich are not offering more to sign him, but I believe if he agrees to go with them, they're still going to pay him very well. He's not going to earn anything less than 250 if he moves to Bayern Munich, which is, for me, not a bad deal. So we'll see and watch and see how this one is going to, unfold. But most likely, considering history between Dele Ali and Harry Kane, it looks like he's going to stay in Tottenham and sign a new contract. But we'll see how this one will go. So let's go to Saudi Arabia. This name every day keeps coming up. This nation keeps coming up. Yeah, I know we have a history of China doing this some 6, 7, 8 years ago, and it happened to be like a flash in the pan and they disappeared. Saudi Arabia has come, for me, I'm becoming disturbed, but not in a bad way. What I mean by being disturbed is they have come to stay, and they seem to have clear plan of what they want to do. And it looks like they have a bottomless purse in terms of funds to achieve this plan. But there was a breaking news today, which confirms this my suspicion, and I believe that we really need to worry about Saudi Arabian League. They have appointed Michael EMNALO as director of football for the entire league. They wanted to unify that position. In England and Europe, every club has
Chelsea
their own structure. But in Saudi Arabia, they want to make him the entire football director for all the clubs in the league to help them streamline players' salaries, sign on fees, and all football-related things in the league. And for me, this is a very, very huge and very important move that they have made. I don't know what you guys have been thinking about these guys coming in. They're not only signing players who are in the twilight of their career, they're beginning to also poach players at the prime of their career. And look at Ruben Neves. This is a player that Arsenal fans were thinking that maybe this summer Arsenal will go for. I know he will play in United. He can also play in Aston Villa. He can play in SPURS, I'm talking about. But before we knew it, he's already in Saudi Arabia. So I'm beginning to consider them as going to be a serious league to think about. I don't know what you guys think. Ugum, do you want to start with this one? You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I think it's credible. I think they know what they are doing. I think they are serious. And of course, the money is there. When the money is there, Maurice said at the beginning of the show that money answered all things. When the money is involved and it's a lot of money, then they can do and undo. I think that these guys are very intentional in the Arab world. We'll see what happened at Dubai. We'll see how Dubai was transformed from a desert into what it is today. We saw what happened at Qatar World Cup. The World Cup that so many people in Europe spoke against, people fought and did all kinds of stuff, all kinds of propaganda. That World Cup turned out to be the best ever so far that I've seen in terms of organization, in terms of everything. So these guys are intentional when they want to do stuff. They bring out the money, they get the best hands, and they try to, get the best out of whatever they invest in. So I'm not surprised. I'm hearing about this. You said Mike EMNALO, right?
Yes.
You mentioned EMNALO. Man, that's crazy. That man is a man I respect very much.
Absolutely.
Because of the work he did at Chelsea.
Yes, yeah.
They are still reaping the fruits of it till today. It's just that, unfortunately, many of the things, good things and foundations that he laid there are being undone. You know, a bunch of boys that he attracted to the academy that they raised have just been, most of them have been sold this summer, unfortunately. Yeah, so anybody that's hiring Mike EMNALO, they know what they're doing, and he's gonna bring quality. You know, he's gonna deliver what they want. So, like Reggie said, the kind of players they started with Ronaldo, yeah, retiring and old and all that. And now Benzema, now they are signing. They're coming after Thomas Partey that was running our midfield this afternoon. You know, doing his thing. Coming after younger players in their prime. And as long as the money is there, you will be surprised. They are turning their heads. Look at this Jota guy, this Portuguese player. I think he's 24. So that helped Celtic win. I think a treble in Scotland. They just lured him out of Scotland to Saudi Arabia.
Henderson is going now for 700 a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm considering coming out of retirement to get myself a gig.
Yeah. What do you have anything to? What's your take about this Saudi Arabian league and the way they are bullying teams in Europe right now with their cash?
They are not just bullying Europe; they are bullying the rest of the world, and they are very intentional about it. It's not just Saudi Arabia; it's the Asia, it's the Arab nations. Remember, they got what's this Premier League referee that moved to Asia. He was there for a while now, helping them, their referees. And then it was Clattenburg or Howard Webb, one of them that moved there. Now,
Clattenburg.
It was Clattenburg. So now look at it. We survived the tsunami somehow. I guess someone saw it somewhere, because this fear you are expressing right now, what have already happened, had Messi moved to Saudi Arabia. I'm telling you right now, the kind of coverage they have on their league because of Ronaldo is so massive. Now think of what will happen next season. I am telling you that I would like to follow the Saudi Arabian league.
I'll be watching their league next season
because of the constellation of stars we have there.
Yeah.
Now they understand what the Chinese did not. That it's not just about having the right players. It's getting the teams to probably
compete,
structure and compete.
Yeah.
And that is what EMNALO is going there to do. They understand how to sign players, the transfer, how to structure their teams. Every other team that each of these clubs lack, they're going to have it. Knowing how to go for the right players. You don't have money to spend. This is how to develop. If you can spend it this way, so that it will be competitive, not just something that has probably a flash of glamour, and in the season after we're tired of watching it. They are very intentional about it. They've taken over sports. Like boxing is done.
Yeah, there was even a struggle the other day about golf as well in the parliament in the United States.
And I even told my friend yesterday. That not only that Asia has hosted the best World Cup, Asia and Africa hosted the best World Cup that I would say in history. For the guys that are older than me, you can argue, but I tell you, the Qatar World Cup, despite all the bad, media image they try to portray of Qatar, was arguably the best in the last 30 years. Not just in terms of organization, but competitiveness. All the games were very explosive.
Infrastructure.
So
infrastructure.
Tony, I'll put that to the advancement of technology. I remember watching Italian 90 on TV. It was fantastic as well. It was like the best thing since sliced bread. USA 94 was another one as well. But if I may just jump in and say this, getting EMNALO, who, like Ugon said, I have a massive respect for him, is a master stroke. I'm a project manager by profession, and one of the first things that you want to do is identify the right resources that will get the job done. So they've identified the right resource. They have the right project. They're working to take over, and they're doing it organically. It's not just paying those people the 700,000 a week or whatever. You're going to see they will now they'll now ease up on that high-paying stuff. It will still be more than what the European clubs are doing, but there's going to be a cap. There's going to be a balance, because they understand. One of the beautiful things I like about the Arab world is they understand how to plan. Look at Dubai. Dubai is an excellent example of having that project management, planning ability to succeed on projects. So they understand how to plan, and they have a good money management system too. So in terms of soccer, in terms of football, will they be number one? No. I'm going to push back on that, because the US did another masterstroke by bringing Messi in. They're looking to bring Suarez. They're looking to bring other people. Now, you and I know that when it comes to the commercial or the marketability of anything, the US is a giant, so they're going to blow this up. Saudi Arabia, there's some things that will really not work in terms of time difference. You have to really sell that to Europe, and the Europeans are going to push back, because you're not going to take over the Premier League, La Liga, and all of that. So they have a battle to try and get to the height that where they want to get to. Now, if it's in Asia, yes, they can pull that stuff. They can pull it where they have the Asians watching it. That's fine. But even in Asia, there's a massive Liverpool presence. There's a massive Manchester United presence, fan base, the Arsenal fan base. They would all log on, and in India, they will all log on to watch the Premier League when it comes on. It's the #1 league in the world. So it's going to take a lot to beat them. Yes, you're going to pull away some of the younger players. You're going to actually distract the younger players, because now, instead of looking at, I want to win Champions League and I want to go play, they're like, you know what? Forget Champions League. Let me go ahead and get money while I'm still young. Anything can happen in the future. So once you play well in the Premier League or in Europe, that's a springboard for the poachers from Asia to come put you, to go there and pay you. If you're making 80,000 pounds a week, they can say, we'll pay you 250. And that will.
But Tony,
Oscar, it happened to Oscar.
Yeah, but
Oscar was a promising Brazilian player.
Before he went to China, I know, but see, these guys, it looks like it's different this time. Remember when we were growing up, Italian league was the league everybody was watching. That was the top league in Europe. But all of a sudden, the English league sat down, had their plan, struck, and look at where they are today. Yes, for the US, I don't think football or soccer, as they call it here, is going to ever be that big in the United States, because they don't want anything that will bring down their own sport, which is basketball.
Did you did you follow? Are you following the? Sorry to cut you off. Are you following the female, the female stuff? They're number one in the world. Let me just let you understand.
Yeah, they are, but
so what they've done in the Gold Cup now, I was watching it and I was amazed. They have the companies that will come out and sponsor. The big giants of the world are here in America. So those companies will, all they do is they'll pump money in there. Messi coming to Miami is a big thing, like David Beckham coming to America. Messi is going to change the stuff. You would see what would happen. You know, a lot of people will tune in to watch Miami play. Then they're going to tune in to watch Ronaldo play in Saudi Arabia. We both agree on. Well, all of us will kind of agree on that.
Yeah. Well, I think what will happen is what we can agree here is that these guys are really to be watched. How far they can go with this, if they don't get as popular as the European leagues or American league, but they want to be in the map. They want to be in the conversation. And
it's a long-term project. It's not going to be an instant.
So 5-10 years from now, we'll see how it goes. So let's round up. Before we go, let's remind our viewers. I know you're enjoying our content, our video conversation. If you have not subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button and share our video to your contacts. So let's round up quickly with a few words. I know we're going to have time. We're going to have time and bring in some experts to talk about the Dele Ali interview. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I've watched it. I think Ogum did as well. I followed it to Ogum. It was I was almost getting emotional watching that interview today. I saw a man that was brave and courageous enough to put out his struggles out there. Obviously, he's been dealing with a lot in the past few years. And the thing that struck me, I had a few highlights to that interview, but let me just stick to one so you guys can, chip in one or two before we round up, was the fact that I realized that how much as individuals, individual battles that people are dealing with in their private lives outside our professional life. And that really struck me. If somebody could tell you that this guy had a story like this, from the age of 5 up until he got to 18, and he's been dealing with stuff like this all this while. It really struck me, and I really thought aback. And to be honest, I made a couple of calls today after watching that interview to certain people, because you will never understand how far one or two comments you make to people can go, because you don't know how those comments sometimes relate to their private battles that they are fighting. So I don't know what you guys made of that interview. Do you want to go?
Yeah, I haven't watched all of it, but I got the gist of it. You made a point there. It's easy. That's why I'm not quick to insult sports people, footballers and all that online. People that make it a habit of going to different, fora, whether online or elsewhere, and are quick to hurl insults as sportsmen and all that. That's not my style at all. It's something I absolutely do not like. Having said that, Dele Ali has been a polarizing figure. It's good that he has come out and shown his vulnerability. He has been a bit of an a-hole, many times on the field against opponents and all that. But people have different backgrounds and go through different stuff, and we can see that he had a troubled childhood. that really, formed his perspective of life and his perception of life as he grew up. And I felt that he was fighting inner demons that we can now understand why he would swing at people on the field and appear to be arrogant and appear to be standoffish and aloof and aggressive, right? So, yeah, it's important that we know that, the sportsmen and whoever they are, stars out there, everybody's human. And as long as there's blood in someone's body, the person has an experience or has a story. And it's important to give people a chance and maybe get to understand them before judging and being quick to insult. That's what I got from there.
Yeah, Tony, let me ask you one question on that interview. There's something I was thinking about. I was listening and watching. Oh, these days, the talk out there is mental health, which should be taken seriously. But I still believe as a human, there has to be, you need to have some staying power to an extent. I don't think anybody can exist with an open check where you don't have to, as a human being, deal with stuff. So where do we draw that line from being able to have inner strength to deal with challenges and, branding every challenge that you face to affect your mental health?
Like they said, all fingers are not equal. People have certain capabilities, naturally God gives them the strength. Some people are born warriors, others are trained to be. It's just like talent. It can be God-given. It's not something you can acquire. Sometimes you can be trained to learn how to fight your battles, and that's why we have psychologists around us, or probably mental doctors, helping us get through this. Part of it is what they are doing with Dele Ali. Let him speak out so people can know, and probably be a little bit fair on him. I just hope that it's not the case with what's happening with Maguire, but that's just on the funny side. I listened to his story, and I remember having this conversation to Ugum some time ago. I kept saying that this guy worked hard to get to where he is. And where he fell off was really shocking to me. The talent I see in him, the hard work I see like the way he works hard on the pitch. He was enjoying his football.
Exactly.
Until these demons he conquered came back when he was at the top, when he was most vulnerable. You see that it's not even about whether he's capable of fighting them or not. Sometimes when you're a public figure, when you're really someone everybody's looking up to, it makes you very vulnerable. And those loved ones are the ones that are supposed to help protect you from all of that. You can easily fall off when they are the ones actually inflicting that pain. Happened to Adebayo, and you see him, he never really did well in other clubs he went to. Players deal with a lot, and until they say it, people always judge by what they see or what they hear. I remember when I heard about Wilshere's story, the struggle he had with his child. People thought, oh, this guy is just, every time he's getting injured and all that. But he was having struggle with his child. Like his child was having a problem, and it takes someone who is a father and a loving one to understand how it feels to have such challenge in your house. So they deal with a lot. They're humans. I have to really commend him for coming out to say it. I have never been hard on him, but I was happy to hear Pochettino say he's willing to help. I think that's really encouraged him. Many people saying they are willing to help him will get him going. The talent is still there. He still has age on his side. I just hope he will be able to find his groove back.
Mons, I don't know if you watched the interview. If you did, what do you think the impact of this will be for him in any dressing room he finds himself, or going forward in his career? Because I think he mentioned that he even wants to achieve more stuff than he has done or what he did when he was in Tottenham and they had a good spell.
Mm-hmm. So first of all, I didn't watch the interview or listen to it, but I saw something like that online and I was like, okay, I'll watch it later. But second, we're first humans before we're anything else, right? And there's a mental part of us that needs to that we battle with. We all have our demons that we struggle with. I must commend him for speaking out, because that's the first phase of therapy, of healing. It's to speak out. And then I must commend the football world for, reaching out and saying, we're going to help you. Dele Ali is an amazing talent. Like you said, he at the peak of his career, the demons came to hunt him. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. Salvation has come. The first step he did was confession, which he did. He said, "Hey, this is what's wrong with me. I need help." That's one. The second thing he did is the football world said, "Okay, you know what? We're going to help you." I believe that whatever dressing room he finds himself in, he's already confessed and said, "Hey, I have this problem," and the team will work with him. He's not the first player, nor unfortunately will he be the last. I remember one of my greatest players. Like I said, I'm not a United guy, but I give credit to who credit is due. I'm a massive George Best. For those of us who can remember, George Best
He's the best
fan. Yeah, George Best fan. And George Best was out of this world during his time, and but he had plenty demons. He was fighting a lot of stuff. Even Maradona had a lot of stuff that he fought with. It's just how you manage it.
You can also remember Adrian Mutu that played for Chelsea. Fantastic
of course,
talent,
of course, Mutu. But it's how you manage it. Mental health is something that, especially in our own community, it's a lot. It's happening a lot, but we kind of sweep it under the rug, and that's the worst thing that can ever happen. I'm glad that football is dealing with it now and reaching out to help them. And there's also Justin Fashanu was another example. He struggled with stuff, and in the end he killed himself. So we always have to make sure that it's a good thing when they speak out, so that they can now get help. So Dele Ali, if you're listening, or if anybody can send this to him, we wish you all the best. We're praying for you and we're rooting for you. We believe in your talent. We know that you're going to make it. Just hang in there, and you will make it.
Yeah, thank you guys. And for me, we all know that there is no love between Tottenham and Arsenal, but when Dele Ali is, even before now, is one of the players in Tottenham when they were flying that any team would love to have. I used to admire him because of the way he used to sneak into opportunities and damage opponents seamlessly, and working with very lovely chap to watch playing football. From the story that he gave, I watched the interview actually twice today. He at some point at his early ages, he was sent back to Nigeria, because who believed that suffering and hardship was discipline. That's what he was sent to Nigeria to go and do. And eventually he came back. So it's so much. You need to listen to that interview. There was so much to unpack in it. So like Maurice said, Dele Ali and whoever his support group are, we are rooting for you. We are praying for you. We are on your side. And thanks to his adopted parents, because he had huge praise for them. He said those guys, if God created humans, that those guys were created by God. And for him, in his difficult time, going through it and coming out of it, still be proud of them. That shows the amazing job they have done in his life. So we say congrats to that family. And we look forward to seeing the Dele Ali that we knew 5 years ago to come back to this. 27 years now. He still has at least 5-6 years to give to the game if he can, pick himself up and go back doing what he loves to do and what he knows to do best. So guys, thank you very much for coming to this. It's been a very lovely conversation. Maurice, we hope to have you more. Tony, sorry for the time difference. Most of the time it's very difficult for us to get you because we are there in the UK. 6 hours difference. Now we're about to go to bed and you are like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. there. Sorry to wake you up in the middle of your sleep. And we're so glad to have you. Ubum, as usual, always there, Arsenal blood through and through. Representing. We expect to see more banter between you and Maurice as
the season progresses. Trust me, you'll see a lot. You'll see a lot. Again, I just want to say this is amazing. Of course, I will definitely be logging on and you know, putting in not my 2 cents, but my $1 million worth of
That's right.
information.
Right, right.
Yeah,
That's right.
so I you know, keep flying. I would invite some other fans as well. I have some Liverpool fans. I have, funny enough, I have a lot of Arsenal fans as
It seems they're
brothers
everywhere.
as brothers. So yeah, they're like, yeah, you guys are like bees, you know, everywhere. But
Yeah,
don't worry,
when the
man.
video comes out, you forward it to them, let them subscribe, and you know.
Oh,
Them
absolutely.
as well.
They
Yeah,
will
so,
subscribe. They will want to be part of it. So
yeah.
kudos to you, and let's keep doing this, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you
very much, guys. Tony, thank you very much. I don't know if you're going to go back to sleep or that's it for you. Sorry for interrupting you.
I wasn't sleeping. I had some online training I was doing before I joined the show, so I missed at the time. So when I checked my time, I was like, oh my, you guys were already 30 minutes.
Okay.
And I tried to connect and the link wasn't working, but luckily Goop saw my message, and I'm glad to be here and good to meet you, Maurice. I've already met Reggie and one before. You're such a great analyst, super punchlines.
Thank you.
So it's a heavyweight meeting.
Yeah, Maurice, thank you very much. So much.
No problem.
Short notice and you showed up. I really appreciate it, and I'm very encouraged, and you know, yeah, it's massive to have this support from you. You guys is really encouraging, and it keeps one going. And we are really building this for ourselves. You know, we are people of our origin. We don't have much in this space, so that's one of the reasons I said, okay, no, let's make ourselves, because the football is like a religion back home in Nigeria. Growing up as a child, if you couldn't play football, you can't talk, you know, among your peers. And all of a sudden, we don't have any presence in the airspace of football. So that's one of the motivations behind this. So let's keep it going, and I really appreciate you guys. And we'll see again, maybe on Sunday or Monday. You know.
Sounds good, guys. All right then.
Okay.
Thank you,
Take care.
Yeah, bye.